Good morning. I'm going to show you how to add, this is a barrel bottom. It's already been created. I'm going to show you how to add the little rubber piece called the pen grip. It's going to go right here. First, you're going to open up the barrel bottom. So go ahead and download that and then insert it inside Autodesk Fusion. Once you're in Fusion, right now, you'll see that the file name is called barrel bottom. And then we also have another component that's inside the file, also called barrel bottom. If the one called barrel bottom that's a component is grayed out, what you're going to do is you're going to click on the one up top. When you mouse over it, you'll see the little bubble there to select it. So I'm going to go ahead and select the one up top because you need to be selecting the one up top. This is what we call a top-down modeling. What we're going to do is this part's already been created, and I'm going to create another part on top of it in the exact same file. Again, it's called top-down modeling because you're making it inside the file already. So now I'm going to click on Assemble, and I'm going to make a new component. And then we're going to call this component Pen Grip. Click OK. Now notice, see, pen grip shows up at the same level as the barrel bottom. I'll go ahead and implode that at the same level as barrel bottom. And notice it's selected, it's grayed out. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Create Sketch, and I'm going to choose this work plane here that where the blue axis meets the red one. So I'm going to click that axis there. I'll click that work plane there, rather. Now I'm going to make a circle, and I'm going to be concentric circle, meaning the same center point as what we have. And I'm going to deliberately make it larger, and I'm going to dimension it. And the diameter is going to be 0.465. Now it's going to shrink it down a little bit. All right, but I deliberately labeled it so that way I'm going to be able to find it. Notice it's on top of the other ones. I'm going to make another circle that's also deliberately bigger, and I'm going to dimension between them. So from the 0.4651, which is here, to the outer one, and I'm using my scroller wheel so I can zoom in and out. So in between those two is going to be 0.05. All right, so it's going to be 0.05 thickness. So in between those two is going to be where my rubber grip is going to be. Now I'm finished with that sketch, so I'm going to click Finish Sketch. Now I'm going to go ahead and click on the house. Now my other sketch is going to be on the tip, on this edge right here. So I'm going to choose Create Sketch, and I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to try to put it right on the edge out here. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I'm going to make another circle. And again, I'm going to deliberately make the same center point. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Now the rubber pen grip or silicone pen grip gets a little bit wider. So this one is going to be diameter. So I'm going to click it. I'm going to set the diameter to 0.56. So this diameter is going to be a little bit wider than the other one, 0.56. Again, it's labeled so that way I can see it. I'm going to make another one, and from the point, I'm going to make this other one bigger. And just like I did before on the other one, I'm going to dimension between those two, and it's going to be 0.05 in between them. Okay, so now I'm going to finish sketch. Now I'm going to go ahead and click on the little house. Now I'm going to loft between those two. You can see them right there. So I'm going to click Create, and I'm going to choose Loft. And now I'm going to go in between these on one side, and I'm going to go in between those other two on the other side. All right, so what it does is it makes a surface from one, lofts out to the other one, and then we're going to click OK. Again, this is what we call top-down modeling because I'm using one part to make another one. Now, what we're going to do next is on the pen grip, there are little thumb grips, and they kind of look like they're shaped like an ellipse that are cut into it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the down arrow under Construct, and I'm going to choose Tangent Plane. You'll see it creates a construction plane tangent to a cylindrical or conical face. Now I'm going to click the part that I just lofted, rather. All right, and I'm going to click OK. We made our tangent plane, and I'm going to make a new sketch, create sketch on that, right click and create sketch. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to project. I'm going to click project, and I'm going to project this point right here. That way I'm going to have a midpoint that I can point to. See, that way I know where the midpoint is, so I can make sure that my part is lined up. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw an ellipse. So I'm going to click on create, and I'm going to choose ellipse. It creates an ellipse defined by a center point, major axis, and point on ellipse. So now I'm going to go ahead and okay, create my ellipse. I'm going to make one axis, and I'm going to make the next axis. Now I'm going to go ahead and see if I can constrain. I'm going to first draw a line through that point that I chose, and I'm going to make it a construction line. I'm going to choose construction, and I'm going to draw a line through that point. And look, you'll notice it makes sure, and then I'm done with that, so I'm going to hit escape. You'll see that that construction line is already horizontal or vertical, right? So if it's not there, you're going to click on horizontal, vertical, and then you'll click that line. Mine's already done, so I didn't really need to do that. Okay, but make sure you've done that. So that way, now I'm going to make sure that my center point is on that line, so that way it's exactly centered. So I'm going to click on coincident, and I'm going to click on this dot, and I'm going to click on the line, not the point, the line. There we go. So that means we know that it's centered. Now I'm going to dimension it so that the edge of my ellipse is 0.05 from that point that I inserted. Now, the widest part of an ellipse is what we call the major axis. So the distance from one side of the major axis to the next one, I'm going to dimension to that. The major axis is going to be 0.7, so I'm going to set that to 0.7. Hit enter. Now I'm going to do the minor axis. The minor axis is the thinner one, and the minor axis is going to be 0.115. 0.115. Okay, there we go. So I've got my ellipse, so I'm going to finish sketch, and now I'm going to extrude. So I'm going to click E for extrude, and I click that ellipse if it didn't choose it. Or it was already selected, but it needs to choose it. Now I'm going to go ahead, and instead of new body, I'm going to cut. So it's going to cut into it, and I'm going to cut into it a distance of 0.02. Now it looks like it went in the wrong direction. So now just to double check, it probably went in the wrong direction. Oh, I probably need to set it to minus 0.02. So set to minus 0.02. That probably took care of it. And just so I can check, I'm going to click on the house there so I can get a feel for it. Okay, so now it looks like it's going in. So I had to set it to distance as negative. That's why. So I'm going to click OK. Okay, so now that's done. Now I've made one of these, but there are supposed to be 6 of them. So I'm going to make a circular pattern of all 6 of them. So I'm going to click on create, and I'm going to choose pattern, and I'm going to choose a circular pattern. And under type, instead of bodies, I'm going to choose features, because I'm going to pattern the extrusion, which is considered a feature. So I click features, and now I'm going to select that feature that I'm going to pattern. Now the axis, I'm going to click on select. Now the axis that I want is one that goes through the center. If I choose the actual circle on the end, it'll automatically pattern it around the circle. And I'm going to try and go ahead and do, it says 3, I'm going to change the quantity to 6. Okay, so again, if you choose a circle, it'll automatically pattern it around the center inside. So there we go. We click OK. That's done. So we have all 6 of our thumb grip ellipses. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the material. The actual other part, the barrel bottom was plastic. I'm going to set this to be silicone. So the way we do that is where it says pen grip, I'm going to right click where it says pen grip, and I'm going to go ahead and choose physical material. And the type is going to be plastic, and then I'm going to choose silicone. Now I'm going to move my dialog box up. And now I'm going to scroll down in here, and I'm going to look for plastic. Oops, the wrong one. I'm going to use the outside one, and I'm going to scroll down, and I'll look for plastic. Good, plastic's already open. If plastic isn't open, you click on plastic. And now inside the plastic one, I'm going to use the inner the inner slider in here. I'm just clicking and dragging, and I'm going to choose silicone. So I'm going to go down. There we go. Rubber. Was it rubber silicone? Rubber silicone. Rubber silicone for the material. And then what I have to do, I have to click it and drag onto the part. Now I'm only going to put it on the grip because the actual pen is not. So I'm going to leave that as that. Now, okay, that looks good. Now I'm done. So I'm going to go ahead and close it. Now, in order to close it, I need to move it around. So I got to look for the close button. It's closed. Now notice it's a slightly different color. Okay, now I need to make the rubber grip. The actual one, I think it's like an orange color. So I'm going to right click on pen grip. I'm going to choose appearance, or I could have hit A instead. That's going to allow me to change the color. So I'm going to click appearance. And now I'm going to go ahead and just move the dialog box farther up so that way I can just drag around a little bit. Now I'm going to go down. I'm going to scroll down on the right hand side. Now first you're going to look for paint. Okay. Now normally you're probably not going to see any of these open. Liquid metal, mirror, miscellaneous, other paint. We're going to click on paint to explode the paint. And I'm going to do glossy so that way it's nice and shiny. And now I'm going to scroll down. Now I want to make it orange. All right. And you can see there is no orange. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the red and I'm going to drag it on top of the actual part. Now, I don't want it to be red. I want it to be orange. So what I'm going to do now, after I dragged it on there, see where it says in this design, the little paint enamel glossy red showed up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to edit it because I don't want red. I want orange. So I'm going to delete backspace over red. I'm going to call it ORANGE. And now that just changes the wording. And now I'm going to go ahead and choose an orange color. That looks pretty good. Okay, I'm just going to drag the slider over to make it orange. We clicked on. Okay, I think that looks good. And notice it shows up as orange right there. Okay. All right. And now I'm finished. So I can go ahead and scroll down. And I have to find the close button. Again, I'll drag it up. There we go. And then we click on close. Okay, and then now I'm inside. I'm still inside the pen grip. So if I want to see how everything works, I'm going to click on the bubble next to barrel button. And then now just to see what it looks like, I'm going to click out here. So there we go. So our barrel bottom, which was already built before. And then I have the pen grip that I just added to it. Okay, so now you're going to have to make a drawing of it and make sure you submit the drawing. The drawing should also have your name in it. That way we know you actually made it. And you're also going to assemble this along with the other parts. Now make sure you save the part if you haven't yet. So click on save. Okay. And again, I'm going to call it barrel bottom. That's what we initially saved it.